He then pointed the gun at my husband's head and fired. Luckily, it missed.
Shots are fired at a home in Jefferson County after police say suspects tried to steal a catalytic converter. We're talking to the homeowner about what happened.
You don't think it's going to happen?
Well, it was a nice taste of spring while it lasted. Now snow and cold is on the way, and we're going to see temps drop a good 30 to 40 degrees by Sunday. Details on this approaching storm coming up.
Denver wants to see people walking along the 16th Street Mall again. It's starting a new initiative to get people downtown.
Put forward this idea that positive activity attracts positive activity.
And a nuclear scare in Ukraine has the country's president pleading for more involvement from the West to fight Russian forces.
My husband comes running back in the house, says I've been shot at.
Terrifying moments for a Jefferson County couple. Shots are fired when the homeowner tries to stop two suspects from stealing the catalytic converter from his car. And now deputies are searching for the people responsible. Thanks for joining us for Denver 7 News at 11. I'm Jessica Crawford. This happened near Wadsworth and Chatfield this morning. Jacqueline Gehrig says her husband was getting ready for work when he heard some noises outside. He went to check them out and saw a man near their car.
He came around to our green Honda and was looking, and the guy smiled at him, and he thought that was weird. And then he turned around, there was a guy underneath the car coming out with a sawzall trying to get around my husband. My husband grabbed him, pinned him up against the car. He then pointed the gun at my husband's head and fired. Luckily, it missed.
Jacqueline says if this had happened just 20 minutes later, her grandchildren would have been pulling up into her driveway. She says her husband is okay, though. Deputies say the suspects drove off in a silver four-door Honda. They're described as white males who are 6 feet tall. One of them had red hair and was wearing dark clothing. If you have any information, call the Jeffco Sheriff's Office. Well, our other big story that we're following at 11, a big change in our weather. You're looking live at the foothills and at the Denver skyline, where we're seeing a few more clouds than we did yesterday. Meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo joins us now. And Lisa, we'll see temperatures drop by 20 to 30 degrees this weekend.
If not by 40 by Sunday compared to what we saw yesterday. You're right. It's going to be a big change for us. Right now, we've got a little rain and snow starting to move in from the west. We are tracking what's going to be, unfortunately, probably a pretty icy drive up and through the high country here as we get into the weekend. More snow on the way, and you're going to find here in town right now temperatures close to about 60. So actually pretty mild, mid to upper 60s here in town. And that's going to, well, get colder as obviously the weekend goes on. Right now, fairly mild, 40s in the foothills and mountains. We're going to see these temperatures drop, and compared to yesterday, anywhere from 5 to about 15 degrees colder. Coming up, we're going to be tracking the snow. I'll show you what we're going to see, how much we're going to see, and the timing of all of this. But yeah, by Sunday, Jessica, about 40 degrees colder than what we saw yesterday.
All right, thank you so much, Lisa. Well, you can get 24/7 Colorado weather updates and live radar on your TV. Just download the free Denver 7 Plus app on your favorite streaming device. A nuclear crisis is averted in Ukraine after Russian troops shelled Europe's largest nuclear power plant. Ukraine's president says that he spoke with President Joe Biden this morning about the attack. As Faith Abube reports, now there are questions about what else NATO will do as Russia advances across Ukraine.
Overnight, Europe's largest nuclear power plant in Ukraine coming under Russian attack. Tracers and gunfire seen in the night. Smoke billowing out of a building on the ground. Rescue workers spending 4 hours putting that fire out. Officials later saying the fire wasn't burning at the nuclear plant itself. The international nuclear watchdog, the IAEA, saying the projectiles, quote, came from the Russian forces.
This just demonstrates the recklessness of this war and the importance of ending it.
Russia's defense ministry claims it's now in charge of the nuclear power plant. President Zelensky once again calling for the U.S. and NATO to impose a no-fly zone over Ukraine immediately, and then appealing to the Russian people to help stop the attacks because, quote, radiation doesn't know where Russia is nor where the borders of your country are.
Nuclear power plants were not designed to be the survive military conflicts.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken calling on Russia to withdraw its forces and engage in good faith in diplomatic efforts.
We seek no conflict.
But if conflict comes to us, we're ready for it.
Russian troops have captured the southern Ukrainian city of Kherson and are advancing towards the neighboring city of Mykolaiv. The relentless assaults causing more civilian deaths as Russian aerial attacks destroy apartment buildings and hospitals. In the city of Chernihiv, dashcam video showing a missile strike on a residential neighborhood in what could be the single deadliest civilian attack in the war so far. The city's emergency services saying 18 people were injured and 33 were killed. And despite Ukrainians slowing down the Russian advance, President Putin claims his invasion is going strictly according to plan. A senior U.S. official tells ABC News that the Kremlin has already selected a puppet government to take over Ukraine after the war. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
The West is imposing more sanctions on Russia, targeting its wealthiest residents. The U.S. is blocking at least 19 oligarchs and 47 of their relatives and close associates from traveling to the U.S.
The goal was to maximize the impact on Putin and Russia and to minimize the harm on us and our allies and friends around the world.
The EU also taking action against Putin's closest allies, including seizing the yacht of the CEO of a state oil company. Western companies are also cutting ties with Russia, including some major airplane manufacturers. Well, you might have seen gas prices spike in the past week. Prices in Colorado are up 12 cents, and gas is nearly $1 more expensive than it was last year. The Biden administration says that the war in Ukraine is to blame.
The volatility in the oil markets is a direct result of the fact that President Putin invaded Ukraine.
Many Republicans say the Biden administration's policies against more drilling here at home are also to blame. Despite the surge in prices, some lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, including Colorado Senators Michael Bennet and John Hickenlooper, want the president to end all Russian imports.
He looks at this through is how can we maximize impact on President Putin while minimizing it on the American people.
President Biden says ending Russian oil imports would only drive prices higher. Experts say banning Russian oil may not make much of a difference anyway, since major companies like BP and Shell have already cut ties with Russia. Barry Morpheus is in court all day for a motions hearing. He's accused of murdering his wife Suzanne and is expected to go on trial next month. Earlier this week, his attorneys asked for his case to be dismissed. Documents show a CBI agent investigating the case told Internal Affairs that Morpheus' arrest was premature and called it the worst decision that could have been made. Well, friends and family will remember the 4 people killed in a crash in Commerce City. 2 of the victims were teenagers. We're told the vigil starts at 6 near 112th and Highway 85, which is the scene of the crash. 4 other people were hurt. Police have not given an update on what caused that wreck. The 16th Street Mall is an iconic Denver destination. Business owners say foot traffic has slowed down during the pandemic, though. As Denver 7's Colette Bordelon reports, there is a renewed focus on bringing people back.
One of the ways they're trying to do that, 5 new pop-ups coming to the 16th Street Mall, and they'd be in those vacant storefronts. Actually, the 5 spaces making up around 1/3 of the available space down here at the mall, and they're hoping those temporary businesses turn into permanent fixtures.
And I still want it the same way, like the onions and everything in it.
Some of the people passing through the 16th Street Mall are there most mornings, coming back again and again for Ahmad Smiley's food.
This is basically the heart of Denver.
But for the first time in his decade at the mall, his regulars disappeared along with the tourists.
During the pandemic, we were just completely closed down because there was no business down here.
A new initiative between the city and Downtown Denver Partnership wants to bring that business back.
Yeah, it has the potential, and I'm really happy it's happening. So.
The plan, taking 5 vacant storefronts and turning them into pop-ups, matched with entrepreneurs getting $20,000 to get them going. They'll have to meet certain criteria, like 25 full-time employees or less, because it's meant for small businesses that may not have this opportunity otherwise.
So we have 3 property owners who are participating, and they have offered no base rent. in exchange for this opportunity to be connected to vetted tenant prospects.
The pop-ups can be there for at least 3 months. After that, the property owner and business can decide how long they'd want to stay, up to a year.
How do we reimagine downtown? How do we bring people back and offer them something new? And I really love that this has a diversity, equity, and inclusion focus as well.
And for those already working in the mall, they know new business means new customers for everyone.
People are always looking for change, and the variety is always the best chance that you could draw people here down in the 16th Street Mall.
With a Smiley ready to meet his next regular.
Businesses can apply for the pop-ups through 5 o'clock this afternoon. If you're interested in seeing if your business qualifies, you can head on over to denverpopup.org. Now, those with the Downtown Partnership say they've already gotten at least 100 applicants. In Denver, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
The 16th Street Mall is also getting a $150 million makeover. Work will start in a few weeks between Market and Larimer Streets. The renovations include making the area more walkable and giving businesses more outdoor space. The city says all businesses will remain accessible during construction. The RTD Free Mall Ride will be rerouted to 15th and 17th Streets in the meantime. It's a sport that has Scandinavian origins, and it's been in Colorado for decades. Still ahead, we're heading to the high country to learn about ski joring.